Well, good morning, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Channing Curtis.
Glad to have you here with us on this Monday morning. I'm Tim Pham. Well, parts of the inland Northwest are still a little bit frosty in certain areas and even a little bit foggy as we are still under a winter weather advisory in certain areas.
That's right. So let's go ahead and get right outside to meteorologist Jeremy Laguse. So Jeremy, it is a big holiday weekend. Lots of travel is going to be happening within the next few days. So what can we expect as we start off this Thanksgiving week?
Some inclement weather across parts of the inland Northwest. Now, a few things. One, look at this. Look at that. We are pretty socked in the freezing fog here on the top of the South Hill, and it's pretty thick. It's starting to put a little bit of rime ice on everything, so be ready for that as you head out the door. Coeur d'Alene's starting to clear out because of that wind. That light wind makes all the difference for them there. Quick question though, all my bird lovers out there, when I came out, there's a little bird sitting right there, and it looked about the size of a finch, kind of a lighter gray body, and then a black head. It was really cool, but I don't know what kind of bird it was. And instead of Googling, I figure somebody knows. If you do know the answer, text it in 509-448-2000. I'd love to know. Thank you. Temperatures down in the 20s for a lot of us, 31 in Coeur d'Alene, 28 in Sandpoint. We're socked in some pretty thick freezing fog early on this morning here on the top of the South Hill. Seems to be traffic moving along just fine as I look out at Regal, so just know that that's something you're going to encounter. You head up in elevation, you're going to encounter snow later today and tonight, even tomorrow morning up and over the northern Rockies. There's a lot going on. Right now, nothing. By this afternoon, you're going to go sunshine. That guy's full of it. But by tonight, we get our push of moisture. That likely starts as a little bit of a rain-snow mix. Overnight, we might see that turn over to snow. Forecast models suggest that's the case. They suggested that was the case last time. So we're going to keep a close eye on it. It does look like this time we could pull down some of that cold air and really get that snow to come down. Really in those higher elevations here in Spokane, we're right on the edge of it. If we get anything, it is going to be less than an inch. We just don't have much moisture or much energy. And today, kind of the calm before the storm. If you're taking to the road, if you're heading to the west side and you're doing it today, leave early. If you're heading out and say tomorrow, maybe wait until a little bit later if you're going west. If you're going east, maybe wait till Wednesday. I'll have a look at your travel forecast coming up in a bit.
This is the first full week all Americans are now eligible for the COVID-19 booster shot.
So as we approach the holiday season, health officials are urging people to get vaccinated and get their booster shots as well. But it still remains unclear how often people who are fully vaccinated against coronavirus might need those boosters in the future.
Whether that's every 6 months, yearly, or not at all. Dr. Anthony Fauci says researchers are monitoring it closely.
We would hope, and this is something that we're looking at very carefully, that third shot with the mRNA not only boosts you way up, but increases the durability so that you will not necessarily need it every 6 months or a year. We're hoping it pushes it out more.
People 18 and older are eligible for Pfizer or Moderna's booster shot 6 months after becoming fully vaccinated. Those that got the one-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine are eligible 2 months after being fully vaccinated.
When you get the booster shot, the CDC says to expect similar side effects to your second dose. In a study by the CDC, 79% of people reported pain or swelling of the arm. 74% also experienced a fever or headache.
In the meantime, new data is revealing just over 17 million fully vaccinated seniors have received a COVID booster shot. And this is concerning to some public health officials because 40 million people ages 65 and up have been fully vaccinated for at least 6 months now.
8:05 on the dot. Time for your morning rush. More news in less time.
Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward is issuing a new proclamation to expand Small Business Saturday. So this proclamation is meant to support more than 10,000 businesses during the holiday season. Woodward cites small businesses as major factors in boosting the area's economy during the pandemic. So Small Business Saturday started over the weekend and will continue every Saturday leading up to Christmas.
A fascinating cold case in Spokane solved. Police identified the man who killed 9-year-old Candy Rogers in 1959. Candy went missing while she was selling Campfire Girl mints. Her body was found 2 weeks later, but her killer was never located. Earlier this year, a forensic lab tested DNA from Candy's clothes. The test led police to John Rayhoff. Hoff was 20 years old at the time of the crime. He died by suicide in 1970, and this discovery closed a 62-year-old case. It also brought closure for law enforcement.
This is a bittersweet moment for all of us, and definitely more bitter than sweet. You had the kidnapping of an innocent 9-year-old who was brutally and violently assaulted and murdered. 9-year-old who had absolutely no concept of evil that exists.
Investigators also say this means closure for Candy's family. The news was bittersweet for the remaining members of her family, as Candy's parents died before they could find out whatever happened to their daughter.
She was an only child, her mom was an only child, and so that's really sad that they passed away with not knowing who had taken their granddaughter and daughter's life.
As for the Hoff family, it was Hoff's daughter, Kathy, who submitted a DNA sample to help the investigation.
Very, very sorry for what my dad did, that he took her life horribly, and that he took her mom's life, really, took her dad's life. He took more lives than one.
Now, with the revelations from Spokane police, Kathy hopes Candy's family can find peace.
That is your Morning Rush. More news in less time. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKREM on social media. We are just one day away from Tom's Turkey Tuesday. This year, we're expecting a lot of first-time families for the Thanksgiving food drive.
So KREM 2's Nicole Hernandez caught up with one woman who has known about Tom's Turkey Drive for years, but is deciding to go for the first time this year.
Thanksgiving comes and goes every year. But for Shauna Atwell, this Thanksgiving
I'm excited.
is going to be special.
I have a son who's coming and a few other people who are coming.
She's hosting Thanksgiving dinner,
Yeah.
something she wouldn't normally be able to do. Just the grocery shopping alone is hard for Shauna.
It's just difficult for me to stand in line. Okay.
But walking around doesn't even compare to the hurdle at the end of the trip.
Yes. I live off a disability paycheck, and I operate with food stamps. Things have been very difficult.
That's why we find Shauna here at Salvation Army's food bank.
I come here about once every couple of months.
She's picking
Broccoli, yes.
and choosing
Thank you.
what will go well
And pasta, if I can get one.
with her turkey.
The turkey.
One she may not have been able to afford if it weren't for Tom's Turkey Drive.
And so I'll have enough food for everybody.
This year, giving meaning to Shauna's Thanksgiving.
It's such a blessing. It's such a wonderful thing.
In Spokane, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
Still ahead here on Up with KREM, KREM 2's Laura Pipetti joining us live after the break. She's answering your most asked questions about Tom's Turkey Drive. Plus, she's cooking up a special dessert that you can also make from Tom's Turkey Drive. That's all coming up and much more here on Up with KREM. Gotta tell you, it's delicious. I already tried it.